Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. We're starting this year with so much confusion. I don't think 2021 has immediately taken any problems away. It's only given more headaches, if anything, right, Annie? But you know what? Just to let you guys know, in today's episode, we're going to be looking at the blank game week 18. We are not going to be looking solely at free hit templates because we know everyone is doing that. Annie and me, as of now at least, are going to be taking the usual route, just going to use the transfers we have, maybe a hit. So for those of you who are following that template, this video is definitely for you. If you are playing your free hit, though, we will be saying or sharing rather some of our must-haves in the free hit template as well. So something for everyone. Annie, how are you feeling going into this game week?
Very nervous, honestly, because I've just about, like I said, held on to the top 10K last few weeks. Last week was a good one. Salah blanking obviously helped there as well. About 3.8K right now is the rank, and that my fear obviously is everyone behind me will free hit, and I'll really slip down because I'm 99% not free hitting anymore, unless something, unless you have another bombshell on us, dropped on us like a couple of hours before deadline. I think I'm not wildcard, like free hitting, wildcarding, anything, any of that, right? A little nervous, but I guess, you know what, if we do it just about right, we'll minimize the damage.
So 3.8K is absolutely insane. And it's not like it's been a random jump, right? You've sort of been there consistently. So, dude, kudos to you. And just to let people know as to like why we're not doing a free hit, and you can add anything different. My idea, at least, is that the way things are going, there will be a lot more double game weeks coming up. And we want to be using our chips when we can capitalize more on double game weeks, on more fixtures, rather than just have say two or three players playing one extra fixture where so the ceiling for points is a lot more in those double game weeks that's coming up. That's my view, Andy. I think same for you.
100% exactly the same.
Perfect. So let's now jump into Annie's team. Annie's going to be taking us through some of the transfers that he's looking at for this game week. I am still very confused, a little jet lagged. So you might have to wait for my team on Twitter before deadline. But hey, let's get started.
Yeah, man, all the pundits are finally back in the same vicinity / time zone. Exciting times. Okay, so off with my team. So right, Con, you can see my team now. Obviously Calvert-Lewin is again the bombshell that was dropped on us a couple of hours back. It's 1:40 a.m. IST right now, Tuesday morning, you can say, and that's when we're shooting this. So Calvert-Lewin is out definitely. We don't know how long, but we were anyway contemplating taking him out, right? So maybe not the worst thing. Maybe we'll finally get rid of him without that guilt in our minds. So with him, I was
I
looking at,
honestly had Annie. Sorry, on that note, just on DCL, I had honestly only kept him in my team because he was going to be useful for this week. That's it. Otherwise, he would have been out of my team a couple of weeks ago. But I mean, lots of managers are facing much worse situations. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, that's fine. So my strategy essentially was, as you can see my team, right? I was going to go ahead with 8 players coming into this and 2 free transfers and a -4 and take a full playing 11. Obviously, Taylor injury and DCL injury have pretty much changed everything for me. So, if I had to have a look at it, what are we looking at here, right? Look, Salah is at 12.5 at a price drop. I'm happy to switch Salah out for Sterling or KDB, obviously. My second free transfer. The thing is, Taylor's a hit and miss, and I don't think he's going to likely play. So the best case scenario I'm looking at again is with a -4, looking at 9 starters, and I'm going to be okay with that. I think I'm going to just assume my keepers had a shambolic week, and one of my defenders got me a 0, right? It's happened to me actually so often with Kilman not starting and coming on or not at all. I've played with 10 players so
Yeah.
often. So honestly, it's not the worst thing for me. So you know what? I'll move on to the transfer page to give everyone a better idea of what we can do, right? So I have 1.6 in the bank. What I could possibly do is take out more Salah. I could go and look at De Bruyne. That obviously gives me more money in the bank. That's 2.4. Now, with that money, I have another option. Either I take out DCL, because look, I'm not using a free hit, right? So the move I can make for DCL would be a permanent move. So right now I have De Bruyne, Fernandes, Son, Kane. That's 4. Stones 5. Kilman 6. Stephens 7. And the 8th player would be who again for DCL. Right. So now this is the one, Karan. This is where I'm confused, and you can look at it because even you yourself don't know what to do. I'm
Yeah.
looking at this also in a long-term perspective, right? But you need someone who's playing this game week. So the only person that kind of fits the criteria for me, honestly, is Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson's fixtures are
Interesting.
up here, right? He's at Sheffield, Arsenal, Leeds, Everton, Crystal Palace, Southampton. Not the worst fixtures. 6.5.
Hmm.
Decently owned, 22% owned. Uh, gets me more money in the bank, right? So in the week after that, I get money in the bank to make those bigger moves, get Salah back. So there's no comfort problem there in case Salah is obviously taking off for the double game
Yeah.
week, and get Salah in for KDB. Now, so let's say I do that. Okay, as of now, let's say I get in Callum Wilson. That gives me 3.5 in the bank. Now, with 3.5, I can either again do a 1 week move. Although I don't want to because Soucek is just so stable. I don't want to because that means next week I only have one free transfer, right? So in that one free transfer, I would either get in Salah for KDB, um, and then maybe take a -4 and get a player back. But that -4 is just so crucial, right? You don't want to take an unnecessary -4 just because you can I can time it better. So in that case, what I would then do
Yeah.
is look at my defense, and most possibly, although I just hope Taylor starts tomorrow, but I'll most likely, even with Burnley's double coming up, I'll most likely take out Taylor and just double up on Man City, right? Outside chance, I could look
Hmm.
at Rob Holding, budget player starting for Arsenal, Arsenal doing well. And a complete other player would be if I would just leave Taylor as it is because Taylor, if not against United, will play the double. So then I'm going to take out Soucek for one game we can get in the likes of Saka. So that's essentially what I'm looking at for now. I'll have to go a little bit down to get in Saka. Where is he? Oh,
Yeah.
he's on the second
I
page.
actually have a couple of early thoughts on this. Interesting that you're looking at removing Suchek because he obviously has a very favorable double game week, right? So it's almost like a single game week move for that one.
Yeah,
Also, also you mentioned you might do De Bruyne to Salah next week, but again, for me, City just have such a great run of fixtures. I was in fact going to suggest if you want to, instead of Wilson, since you have all that money, bring in Jesus, right? And then Stones, De Bruyne, or Jesus sets you up for this game week and the next one and the 3 weeks after that because City's fixtures are absolutely ridiculous. Yeah? Brighton at home for this one. Brighton with loads of injuries, Lamptey out, Lallana out, couple of others as well. Then Crystal Palace at home, Aston Villa at home if that fixture happens. Then West Brom away, Sheffield United, and then Burnley. So City just have such a great run of fixtures. Potentially tripling up on them is so good, but I think the only scare is Aguero coming back, right? I think and Jesus not getting those minutes.
exactly, Karan. So, see, for me, if you're not looking at keeping a budget option like Callum Wilson, right? You have your next best option, according to me. Now, I know he's not been that great this year, but I think Anthony Martial is a great option because they also play the double game week, like you said. It's Burnley, Liverpool, Fulham. Then they have Sheffield, Arsenal, Southampton, Everton, West Brom, Newcastle. A great run
Hmm.
for him as well. You get in Martial, you have 6.4 in the bank, enough for you to get the likes of for this game week only. If you're doing it for this game week, like I said, you can get in Neto then, right? 6.4 Netos at about
Yeah.
6. So you have enough to work around over there, according to me. If not that, if you're looking to get honestly a little uh, what's the right word? I wouldn't say differentially essentially, but it's a risk in itself. But you could have the looks at the like of Foden. He's dropped to 6.2. He's scoring and he's starting right. Mahrez is the one finding himself on the bench. So you could there have a triple up in a City defender like I have Stones, Foden, De Bruyne, Martial with a -4 sets me up pretty well, not just for this week, but also for the double next week. And if Foden doesn't starts, I'm okay taking that one free transfer, getting Soucek back, which I will be doing, and leaving the rest of the team as it is. And Salah, I'll take a call depending on what the news is about Liverpool when we come closer. But yeah, essentially, this is what my team would look like. I'm okay going it without a keeper. So I'll be
Interesting.
playing with no keeper. That's fine by me. So this is essentially the players I would go with. So then I'd have Martial 1, De Bruyne 2, Stephens 3, Fernandes 4, Son 5, Kane 6, Foden 7, Stones 8, and Kilman 9. Through some divine intervention, if Taylor starts against United, gets a solitary point, I'll take that point as well. That would be 10. But that's about it. So I think I'm going to put off my team for now. This is essentially what I might do, not 100% confirmed
Yeah.
yet because making any move 2 hours before deadline really scares me this season. So, and it's worked for me so far. So why change a winning combination, right?
Yeah, for sure. My only thing, yeah, I'm guessing also like the only reason we're not sort of looking at more Arsenal assets is because it's not a free hit, right? And we're not that confident in them long run. But otherwise, one of the picks that I'm sort of looking at in terms of suggestions when people are asking me, and if I'm not seeing them in the team, I'm like, dude, go for him, is Lacazette. I think he's got 4 goals in his last three. 7 shots on target in the last couple of weeks is the most of any FPL forward in that time, if I'm not mistaken. Um, if I'm a little fuzzy on the stats, it's because I've just taken a 25-hour journey and recorded as soon as I've got home. So we make sure this is out in time. So please forgive me if there's any mistake, but I think that's accurate. Uh, Lacazette, I think, would be an interesting forward option to have as well because he plays a couple of easyish fixtures, and he has been sort of more than Aubameyang. He's been the one who's sort of getting in there for Arsenal, right? Weirdly enough,
8.3, on 8.3 price
and
tag.
exactly great price point as well.
That's zero point 0.4 cheaper than Anthony Martial. No double in 19 though, but it's Crystal Palace 18,
Hmm.
19 Newcastle, 20th Southampton. And in fact, that's why, Con, if you remember last week, my outside pick was Leno for this week and the week before. If I'd gotten Leno last week as my move, I would have had a keeper in already. I regret kind of not doing that because they kept a clean sheet against West Brom, right? So
Yeah,
even Leno at 4.9, if you have 10 players playing and you have no keeper playing, and you don't have Martinez, obviously you have McCarthy. You don't know if he's going to play or no in the coming game week. Uh, Leno is a good shout out again because Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Southampton, they're holding on well. And speaking of holding, Rob Holding also at 4.5, great inclusion in the squad. Price point pretty much has played all of Arsenal's games, I think, barring a 2-game run in the middle between game week 4 and 5, and it's looking very solid, especially in the last 2 games at least. But hey, it's Arsenal, which is why, like Kern said, we're giving this a special mention right now, looking at their fixtures. And Kern, since we're talking about Arsenal, let's look at what a free hit template would look like, right? So, Kern, if you were free hitting,
Hmm.
would it be for you what is for so many others? A triple Man City, a triple United, maybe, but definitely a triple Man City and triple Spurs, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking those two obviously are the standout fixtures. So, a Stones also gives you a good price point into defense. So does Dyer, right? Like both are available at 5, so there's a great price point to get in the team. Son, again, if we compare to the larger pictures, not that expensive if you think about it. So, he's sub 10 still. So Son sort of gets you in a good price point. De Bruyne is sort of must have. I think we can see it's between him and Fernandez, the popular captain options for this week. So
Yeah.
not having him could really set you back. So De Bruyne you must have. The rest is sort of then down to your team value and stuff like that. But the good thing with the pre-hit is you can have absolutely nothing on your bench, right? So you don't need to worry about that at all. Go with the bare minimum. Uh, I'd say don't look for cover. Just for if you're doing a free hit, then go for max output rather than trying to cover yourself with, oh, what if this guy doesn't play? I'd say just go for the premiums and hope. Like if you're playing a free hit on such a week, it's about upside chasing, right? It's about hoping to get that tilt ahead of the double game weeks and stuff. So I'd say go for the big names. Saka is a great cheapish option to get in to sort of balance out your City, Spurs, and United assets. And I think it'd be 3 City for me, 3 Spurs with Son, Kane, Deer, uh, De Bruyne, and Stones for me in
Not
defense. The
Diaz.
third one can either be Foden or
Not Diaz.
Diaz or Stones. Actually, yeah, Diaz or Stones. I think Stones is just that slightly cheaper, if I'm not mistaken, or quite cheaper one. Um,
Stones is cheap though, so definitely.
just
No,
yeah,
definitely. Stones is right now. I think his current price is at 5. John Stones
correct.
and Ruben Diaz currently
And
is
Diaz
at
is
5,
5.8.
8. Yeah. So
5.8.
so is
So that's a
Cancelo.
point 0.8 difference, which is why, yeah, which is why Stones just gives you that much more value for me. And he's got rest as well now. He didn't play the last the cup fixture, so I think he'll be fresh. He's good. Laporte is still a week or 10 days away, so it's not like Stones' place is going to go immediately. Um, So that's the two. The third City pick for me is Gabriel Jesus because Aguero is still not trained fully with the team. He's been isolated because he
because
was in
of
contact with someone who had something
in his family, correct? So
tested positive. Correct. So while he himself doesn't have it, I don't think he's going to play this week. So I think Jesus is a great one to have, or Foden if having Kane does not afford you the value of having Jesus. So those are the three picks, and I think elsewhere you can fill in with Lacazette, Bruno, obviously, and then Rashford would be a pick. Obviously, I know this is not completely balanced. I'm missing out on a defender, and I think I'm a midfielder extra. Um, but yeah, then you can bring in an Arsenal defender maybe because they're cheaper than United defensive assets.
okay, so fair enough. So if I had to kind of sum it up, right? If you are free hitting, uh, your keeper, you know if you don't want to go for the likes of Eric Dyer, right? You could also go for Laurie. So let's say for the sake of like Kern said, if you max out your free hit, let's go for Hugo Laurie against Fulham. That's what it is now, the fixture. Let's say my defenders would
Or
be
Bernd Leno. Or if you want Arsenal
or or
defensive cover,
Leno.
Leno. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we go position wise. Okay, or Leno. In
Yeah.
defense, we have Ruben Diaz or Stones, but ideally, if you are looking at it, Stones again, like Kern said, see, it works on you because you're maxing out. It's just the 1 week thing, right? So you could either just go
Yeah.
for Stones and Diaz and De Bruyne. So let's say you go for the likes of Diaz, Ruben Diaz. Then if you've not gone for Loris, you can go for Eric Dyer. You could go for Rob Holding. You could also then outside chance, not to recommend it, but Digne is back. Digne ideally should play. So Digne could slot into your defense
Yeah.
as well. Wolves are leaky. We saw that in the last game again. They're not doing that solidly. So that's one option. In midfield, you
You can
have
also look at a Newcastle asset for defense just because they're playing Sheffield and Sheffield aren't scoring. So your third defensive asset can be a Newcastle asset as well.
you can then look at the likes of De Bruyne, obviously Bruno Fernandes, Son. Those are your core three ideally. Now you could either look at the likes of Zaha against Arsenal if you're thinking Arsenal's going to bomb, and Zaha could be have a good fit in there. Although if you're free hitting, Zaha is really a punt in a free hit. You could then look at the likes
Yeah.
of Foden. Take a look at a Foden? You have Saka. Uh, if you're looking outside these two and you're trying to target another fixture, there's few and far between. Honestly, you could maybe
Then we have Neto, as you mentioned. Yeah.
Neto. Yeah, so I was going
We
to say
also have Neto, as
Neto,
you mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Neto and James Rodriguez. That's the toss up for me. And striker, obviously, Kane should be in there without a doubt. Uh,
Yeah.
your second option, like Kern said, you could look at the likes of Jesus, or you could look at the likes of Callum Wilson, right? You could go for a four, um, go for a 3-4-2, sorry, a 3-5-2. That's ideally what you should be looking at, because I'm not
Yeah.
seeing, unless you go for Wilson, Jesus, Kane, that means then you're neutralizing in your midfield, right? So a
Yeah.
3-5-2 ideally is where I would see people going this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. 3-5-2 for the free hit. The only place I think we are, yeah, just a toss up between Jesus and Lacazette, honestly. Like, I think both look good. This just depends on how differential you want to go. Uh, Lacazette, the only thing is probably a more guaranteed starter with Pep Roulette always a doubt. But I think with Pep finally having a number nine, I don't think he's going to bench him, right? I think he's going to continue with that number nine. City look back to the sort of menacing self as they should have been through these weeks. So having more City attacking assets just makes more sense.
Okay, go on. I think fair enough. I don't want to add too many layers to this because, like I said,
Yeah,
it probably we're trying to help managers, and I don't want to add more layers to this. I think we'll cover the whatever's
for
left
sure.
in it by talking about our differentials. Right? Let's move on to our differentials. Now, if you are looking at this team, right, and we're like, no, but like we said, what if someone triples up United, triples up? So they go for Bruno Rashford, uh, they go for Jesus in this thing as a striker, right? Or they go for Marshall, Bruno, David De Gea. Or wouldn't be a bad punt, honestly. So where would you make space? So what if everyone goes to Saka? So if I look at Arsenal firstly, Emil Smith Rowe has been doing phenomenally for them, right? Let's forget about his price point for a second. So he's owned by less than 3% managers right now. Um, he's currently at so 4.4, 2.7% owned. He's got a goal, I think, against assist against Chelsea, two against West Brom. Uh, Good game against Brighton as well. No reason why he won't start, right? Because Arteta likes to have players who are doing well, and when the kids are doing well, he's going to play them. So he could very well, for me, be the differential there. If not that, if you're looking outside these teams, the only other team that I see people making room or any space is then giving Richarlison a shout out in attack. So pretty much it would be DCL out, Richarlison in, owned by less than 5%, 4.1, 7.8. I don't know if the temptation is there to take a serious look at Newcastle defense for me, or even the keeper, right? Everyone's saying do Darlow, because I don't know if Darlow or Dubravka are going to play as per Steve Bruce's
Yeah,
press
we're not sure
conference.
who's going to start this
So
one. Yeah.
then you could, if you're free hitting, you could just go for Dubravka and Darlow and just go for a punt, because if you're not looking at anybody besides Wilson, those are your three Newcastle players, right? Kern, and who are your differentials?
I am weirdly. I mean, he was always catching my eye even from like 5 weeks before. I was wishing he'd have given more returns. By this point, I was happy to look beyond him. But now with DCL not playing and me not having the luxury, unlike you, unfortunately, of having 2.6 in my bank, I have zero if I make that transfer. Um, I might to look at the likes of Fabio Silva because I'm also looking at someone who's playing, next week. I'm trying to get someone in who's sort of useful, and they have West Brom next week, so that's a good fixture that they have next week, right? That Wolves have. So I'm the forward one, the DCL replacement is the one that's slightly tricky for me in that price point. So Fabio Silva is a punt that I might take, even though the stats aren't there for him.
Yeah, but
It's just something, just the lack of options elsewhere, right? I mean,
yeah,
yes, Wilson is a great option to bring in. The only thing here is whether you go with someone who has, uh, a great fixture this week and an okayish fixture next week, or someone with two okayish fixtures. So
yeah.
that's Fabio Silva has a two okayish fixtures, but Newcastle have great fixture this week in Chef, but next week they're Arsenal away. So not that they're not scoreable against, right? He can easily get that goal. So I think it's a toss up between Wilson and Fabio Silva for me at this point. Fabio Silva is a differential. Wilson is the safer pick because then after Arsenal they play Leeds, who again love conceding. So uh, yeah, that's my toss up there. But my differential for this week is Fabio Silva.
Okay, fair enough. I don't have much to add there, right? I think Fabio Silva we've spoken about before. Uh, Wolves have been a little shaky though, but without DCL, who's going to be up front? Will Charlton be up front? James fit again? Interesting times there. I'm actually looking forward to that game, but not enough to back any player per se.
Yeah,
100%. Maybe if I feel like
yeah,
that move where the thought of Tony Marshall not playing and Wilson just maybe not getting a sniff in against Sheffield, who've not lost too badly against teams. They've lost, but not that badly, right? Maybe
yeah.
I'll have a look at Richarlison there.
Finally got their first win of the season in the FA Cup this weekend. So you never know if that kickstarts them.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Let's see. Or maybe they come back to unfortunately hard ways in the Premier League. Okay, moving on to our captain picks. I think it's straightforward. It's a coin toss between De Bruyne or Kane for me. Son obviously is in the mix as
Ooh.
always. And differential captain would be not Bruno Fernandes, would be Rashford for me.
Ooh, very interesting, Annie, that you said your toss-up is between De Bruyne and Kane. I completely didn't think of Son and Kane at all. For some reason, it was just Kane and
Because
De
it was
Bruyne and
in
Bruno
your
in my
mind,
head.
it was Aston Villa, not Fulham now. So now things have changed.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, interesting one that the only thing is Fulham have sort of become better in their defense recently, and Spurs have declined. So it's not that great for me. Bruno would have probably been my standout pick because he's got that Salah like thing now where you just put the captaincy on him, will give you something. The only thing is Burnley have only conceded twice in the last 5 game weeks, and they have played against the likes of Villa, Arsenal, Leeds in that time, right? So, and I think Leicester as well. So it's not like they've faced bad teams. They play good teams, and they've only conceded twice. So it's sort of tricky there. Otherwise, Bruno would have been the easiest pick for me. Um, I think he's going to go down to gut at the end. And yeah, my differential captain would be Rashford as well, basis that gut. I'm just thinking, am I
Yeah.
thinking United are going here and capitalizing on that game? Rashford, and I didn't mention him earlier, but Rashford would be a great pick for my free hit template as well. If I was looking at it, I'd probably have Rashford.
Yeah, fair enough. I gave a small shout out to him towards the end. If people triple up on United, it would be Rashford, Bruno, Martial, or Rashford, Bruno, De Gea even. De Gea could keep a clean sheet
Yeah.
against Burnley, right? So good pick there. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. We know it's been a confusing time for everybody, including us, which is why we've held off doing an episode up until now. Uh, we're still not 100% satisfied with where even we are in our minds about our teams, but we thought we can still try to help you guys out to visually see what you guys can do looking at the transfer movements and possible free hit templates. We are, as of now, both of us definitely against a free hit unless something changes like throughout the day up until the deadline. So thank you so much again for tuning in. Like you guys have, we're so happy to look at the comments you leave for us. It's really heartening for us after the effort we put into our episodes. Don't forget, for the ones who are watching who are not subscribing, to subscribe to our channel. Like on this video, leave a like if you can. Turn on your notifications so you know when our other videos are going to come in later, week after week. Hit us up on our social media on Twitter and on Instagram. We'll be happy to get back to you on those as well. Thank you so much. We hope you have a less confusing game week, as best a point tally as possible. And we'll see you guys before game week 19.
So, you guys, best of luck.